And welcome back, everybody. There's absolutely no doubt that Nick Saban is driven to be the best college football coach in the land. On Tuesday, he was asked by a reporter why it never gets old and why he continues to do it.
Why do you do what you do? Are you driven to be the best at what you do?
Yes, sir.
You know, there's an old Martin Luther King sermon that, you know, talks about there's only one guy that I'd let shine my shoes in Montgomery, Alabama, because of the pride he had in the performance of how he shined my shoes. I didn't want anybody else in the world to shine my shoes. And the enjoyment he got that he did a great job for what you did. And you probably heard this sermon, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper you can be. Sweep the streets like Michelangelo painted a Sistine Chapel, like Shakespeare wrote literature. Let him put a sign up right here that says the best street sweeper in the world lives right here. And if you can do that, you do the best you do the best there is in life. Knowing you did your best to be the best you could be no matter what you choose to do. That's why. Because there's no better feeling than knowing you did the best you could be. I don't care if it's what you do, what I do, what the street sweeper does. It really doesn't matter. It's not all about results.
Well, just how serious is Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly about leaving for the NFL? That's what Irish fans want to know after learning he's interviewed with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he did it the day after his team lost to Alabama in the BCS championship game. Notre Dame Athletics Director Jack Swarbrick told reporters on Sunday in Florida that he's already planned to talk to Kelly about extending his contract. Swarbrick, though, has not responded from messages sent by the Associated Press seeking comment on the Kelly situation. Well, TideSports.com is reporting that, as pretty much expected, University of Alabama offensive tackle DJ Fluker has decided to enter the National Football League draft early, and he will announce his decision tomorrow. The intentions of two other Alabama juniors with decisions to make regarding an early jump to the NFL, cornerback Dee Milliner and running back Eddie Lacy, will also be made tomorrow at a press conference at the Mount Moore Athletic Complex at 11 a.m. Now, the massive 6'6", 335-pound Fluker is expected to go in the upcoming draft as early as the late first round and probably no later than the mid part of the second round. A fourth-year junior and three-year starter at right tackle. He was a first-team All-SEC selection and a second-team AP All-American in 2012. He started every game for the Crimson Tide this past season as the squad rushed for nearly 3,500 yards with an average of 5.6 yards per carry and 227.5 yards per game, while only allowing 23 sacks in the passing game. He's a devastating downhill run blocker and will probably play right tackle in the NFL just like he did for UA. Quarterback Clint Mosley won't be in the mix this coming season at Auburn. He's decided to forego his senior season after a junior year in which injuries limited him to just 4 games. He started 3 of them, as well as 6 games as a sophomore, but a shoulder injury slowed him in spring practice in 2012, and the lingering effects cost him the early part of the season. An ankle injury ended his year. AL.com reported that he plans to stay at Auburn and graduate. Mosley completed 38 of 60 passes for 373 yards and a touchdown last season. His best year was his sophomore year when he threw for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. Well, you can add the Jacksonville Jaguars to the list of NFL teams looking for a new head coach. Earlier today, the Jags fired coach Mike Mularkey after just 1 season. But you got to keep in mind, Jacksonville suffered through its worst season ever, going 2-14. Still, though, it's odd that the organization waited so long after the season to make this move.
We're in the process of
the Alabama women's basketball team will play its 3rd straight top 25 opponent tonight when they host 13th-ranked Georgia at Foster Auditorium. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. with the game airing live on CSS. Alabama enters Thursday on a 2-game losing streak, having dropped both of its SEC games this season at A&M and at home against Kentucky. We'll have the highlights for you of the game against Georgia coming up tonight on the news at 10. And that's a look at the 6 o'clock sports. We're back after this.
This has been the Tuscaloosa Chevrolet Sports Update on WVUA.